You can do one Mumbai, you may lose Baluchistan.
2, 1, 0. F-139 motor.
This man is a horrible man. He must be shunned.
What is to count? Our job is to hit the target, not to count the body bags.
Namaste, audience. Welcome back to the show. After a while, it's been a good vacation for me and a good break for Sir as well. So, welcome back to the show once again, and we're going to do a small update. Yes.
Parth, I should welcome you back because you were off the radar for some time, and
Yes.
I'm sure our audiences must be, wondering what is happening to their channel. There are no updates, so I think we've got a big quantum of updates today, isn't it?
That's
Parth?
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, audience, we are going to do a small update on the Iran situation. A lot of things have happened over the last couple of days, weeks, and we have a small update for that. So let's proceed to the presentation. Yes, right. So until the 15th of April, whatever updates have happened, we are going to cover that. So on a large level, on day 47, there is a fragile ceasefire which is going on. There is a U.S. Blockade of Hormuz which is in place, and the Brent crude has gone up as of day 47. So let's proceed on that one. So this is what we are going to talk on overall level. Yeah, we want to cover all the different angles, humanitarian, trade, and even military responses from start to beginning. So if you look at it, the last 2 weeks at a glance, besides today and yesterday, has been a situation where largely, Indians have also, been the beneficiary of their good trade policy and good relations with Iran. We have, we've had the ability to evacuate many Indians out of Iran with Op Sindhu, which has happened. Which is different than Ops Sindoor, but this is one is a humanitarian mission. And then we have to realize that, roughly 40 transits of Hormuz are happening on a daily basis, at least as of 2 days ago. That was the situation. And this is, down from the pre-war situation of roughly 100 to 135. Very busy shipping lane. Crude had gone up to almost $122 per barrel. This is Brent crude, I think, WTI Brent crude, West Texas. And then, government has also had some stands on what's going to happen. Some talks in Pakistan happened and many other things like that. And even the, Chabahar waiver, which was given by US has expired now. So that is, passed. We have to see what is the context. So from the beginning, that is the end of Feb to the end of March, this is the background on a high level. This is the timeline on which events have transpired, right? And then throughout this process, India has been reaching out to everybody and keeping, the level playing field.
Parth, I just want to interject here. One thing, let's say that throughout this 28 Feb to 28 March, the Indian foreign policy has been such, and Indian, the oil ministry and the government, they have ensured that there has been no price hike either in crude or either in petrol, diesel, and the associated fuel, as well as very minimal rise in LPG. That is, I think, one unique case across the world where everywhere prices have doubled or they've increased 1.5 times. But in India, somehow, with our reserves, let's see the oil companies how they manage. So the earlier profits have been utilized during this crisis time. And as yesterday the ceasefire, and as Trump has indicated that Hormuz Strait is now open. So let's see. Hopefully, this struggle will end and this crisis will end. Yeah, you can carry on.
Yeah. So next, so entering April 2026, this is the state of affairs. We are in a situation where Gulf states are being actively neutral. Some of the, three H's, which is one of the H here we're describing, Hezbollah has been observing. US, Israel has partially met its objectives, but not completely. Iran, you can say, is damaged but not defeated, right? This is the assessment. But India has maintained the strategic autonomy during this entire part. So which is the ideal position for our country. I think this is my opinion, that we are doing very well in this overall managing the crisis or situation, right? So when you see the next one, so how does the timeline from 1st of April to 8th of April, like, so there was escalation, then again there was a ceasefire, then there was some kind of effort by Pakistan to do some kind of diplomacy or make it appear
So,
as if.
Parth, I just want to highlight this orange star. So, what Pakistan has tried to, emphasize and project that we have initiated this peace talks, and we should be given a, peace medal as a country, Nobel Peace Prize as a country for getting the talks and getting the, war stopped. But actually, what has come over the open source is that Trump had asked Sharif to put it on, you know, the social media that Pakistan wants to negotiate so that he can use Shehbaz Sharif as a pawn and get Iran into it, because Iran was not willing to talk to US directly. So hence, through Pakistan, they've initiated this process so that they can come, and if the pressure is good enough, Iran can, will. But Iran did not, because they had these claims that you should have your, nuclear program suspended for say 20 years. They said no, we cannot do it. So there were various issues on which things did not work out, and that is where the ceasefire did not come into effect, and Pakistan lost that Nobel Peace Prize for as a country to get the war stopped between Iran and US. Yeah, you can carry on.
So on the next one, we see the so-called talks which were held, they collapsed. Literally, JD Vance had arrived in Islamabad, and then
That was
nothing.
surprise. I never thought that JD Vance would physically go, but it happened. So it was
Yeah. So
initiated by you. Yeah.
So it feels as if that there was real effort saying, okay, we are going to go ahead and finish it, and there will be some good conclusion. But Vance had come to the field to negotiate, but there was nothing to negotiate. It just collapsed, right? Everything had collapsed. And then if we see, US does the blockade, CENTCOM makes an announcement that all ships entering and exiting Iranian ports are blocked. So it says that, Iran is condemning the blockade as act of war. They are saying that this is their casus belli, which is the legal
But
definition or legal reason
let
for war.
me interject here. Why does Iran use the victim card and act as a crybaby? It is a war. Iran has done everything wrong in this war. If you see, if US has done, Iran is equally wrong. Iran has attacked all other countries which are not involved in the war. So Iran has done equally damage to the other countries. The way US had its own interest, Iran had its own interest. And a natural resource like Strait of Hormuz, it says it is my own and I'll block it. And you have to pay chungi tax or toll tax if any ship goes. So nobody's following any UN rules and regulations, and as a mature country, it is a war, and everything is fair in love and war. So if you
Yeah.
see, either Iran is behaving properly nor US is behaving properly. And in a war, you don't behave properly, right? You behave whatever your
I mean,
interests are,
at,
your actions are
at
according to
the
that.
end of the day, they are not fighting a dharma yuddha, so that is
Yes,
not the case.
nobody
So
is right. So Iran is always, trying to get the Muslim world, even the Muslim world, Saudis and US, they are after Iran. They want US to sort out Iran this time, and they are planning an alternate to Strait of Hormuz through the Oman Peninsula. Or the fact is that Iran has been I've been telling from the initial podcast, it has been the naughty child or the nuisance child in West Asia, and Iran had proved it so much this time. And I'm sure the patience of other Middle East countries who are trading in oil, their oil refineries have been destroyed. Their tourism industry has been destroyed. They have suffered a lot just because of Iran, and Iran knew that is a weak point. It cannot attack US. It is already attacking Israel. So best thing is attack the countries who benefit from US's security umbrella.
absolutely. So if we look at what happened, as of April 15th, right? So everybody is kind of fragmented, or they are not committed, and everybody is trying to observe, like, where is this situation
But
going, right?
I think Israel is only attacking. This
Huh.
war, in my opinion, US doesn't want to go it into a very serious, state. But Israel is the one who is after Iran, and it is not listening to US. So Israel is attacking Lebanon. Even during the ceasefire, it had attacked the Hezbollah in Lebanon. And of late, I've heard that the ceasefire the Lebanon government has agreed. They are also, वो भी तंग आ गए हैं Hezbollah से. They want somehow Hezbollah out of Lebanon. So Israel and Lebanon are working together to ensure they finish Hezbollah. Hamas का already चल रहा है. So effectively, Israel is the actual, aggressor here, and US is, supporting it because Trump and its administration are funded, or during the election also being funded by the Jews, and as we have discussed, the Black Rocks and the deep state, and they are primarily the Jews who want Iran to be sorted out, because Iran's existence proves a question mark on Israel's existence. Iran getting a nuclear capability, it will, first thing it will do, it says I'll attack Israel. Dead to Israel and US. They cannot attack, so Israel they'll attack.
And out of this interesting entire thing is that not one Indian flag carrier has been attacked. So this is one interesting thing which you must observe, because
attack is a separate thing. It has been allowed to pass peacefully.
Yes.
Chinese ships, containers have been stopped. The Russians have been stopped. The Iranians, and other those countries, West Asia, have been stopped. But Indian LPG basically has been allowed after a lot of positive, influence by our foreign ministry, and our these LPG requirements, and these requirements have been easily, they have been allowed through the Strait of Hormuz, and we are doing very well. Other than the chaos created by the other political parties here, that crisis over crisis, kuch bhi nahi tha.
And there is some hoarding happening by some of the distributors.
Because of the
who are
hoarding,
trying to think.
there were issues with the commercial LPG, but the domestic LPG was not affected. I've ordered twice in this 1 month. I did not find any escalation in prices. था भी तो बहुत minimal था.
Correct. So then the next part is what is the US naval blockade of Iranian ports, right? So what are they achieving? So what is blocked and what is not blocked? So you can see that Indian flagged vessels which are transiting to Iraq, UAE, Saudi Arabia are not affected. They are able to proceed, and this is ongoing. So whereas there are people who are saying that, actually look, this is a situation where Iran is saying that casus belli, meaning they are saying that this is the reason for their war, or the legitimate reason that they can continue going it. So although they have not formally declared the war, but they have they are in a situation where CENTCOM is saying all's well, there is nothing happening, but everybody is waiting in anticipation as to what will happen next, right?
Yes.
It remains to be seen. Then if you see, this is the military asymmetry which is happening, meaning there might be a kinetic action, but also on the cyberspace also they are doing some kind of advisories, like meaning operations are happening. The CERT, Indian CERT emergency team and others, they are announcing different kinds of you can say heightened vigilance instructions which are being passed to avoid getting into any kind of issue.
Today's, as we discussed earlier in our podcast, in today's world, cyber attacks before the escalation or war or a conflict, and during the escalation of war and conflict, even post, is a normal. Cyber attacks to honge hi. You will, other than creating kinetic actions against the adversary, cyber attacks to chalta hi rahega. They will keep testing your security, paraphernalia, your firewalls, your IPS, IDS systems. You're trying to get into your servers, trying to hack your servers, so that they'll ensure that your normal working capability is affected. And during war, if your normal working capability, आपके trains, आपके networks नहीं काम कर रहे हैं, आपके power grids नहीं काम कर रहे हैं, so it is a boon for them. So cyber attacks, electronic warfare, these during the kinetic and before the kinetic तो चलता रहेगा. They'll keep attacking. You'll keep, you'll keep improving them. Again, they'll keep attacking. It's a cat and mouse game.
And then from the Indian Navy side also, we are having anti-piracy patrols which are ongoing near the Red Sea, so that we don't have any kind of issues getting our ships attacked by pirates from Somalia. So this is also ongoing thing which is happening, right? Then if you see, like this is Islamabad talks that they had, like this was so-called negotiating parties which were there. Then the talks failed, and what were the outcomes on this? We had different things happening. India is not party to this, and we are just observing.
Pakistan the mediator, you should say Pakistan the messenger.
Yes,
Or as a waiter, you call them, go and fetch that thing from the other
yes,
parties. Because
yes.
and they thought maybe ये करके मुझे बहुत ज्यादा reputation, मुझे बहुत glory मिल जाएगा, and
हाँ,
it
हाँ, हाँ,
fell on
हाँ.
the face. Yeah, this
Right.
is what happened.
So then, what is India's position, right? So we are saying that we are going to support ending the war and all these different kind of things. Like we are having our strategic autonomy. This is the current situation, and all these statements have been sourced from the government website, and this is the data according to that. Then next, what action has India taken, right? So there were many other kind of meetings with Qatar, Saudi, US, Israel, UAE, as well as Iran. Okay, and then these were coordinated by Dr. Jaishankar and others to ensure that we don't have any kind of issue on petroleum, gas, energy, and fertilizer supply. Because one interesting thing about Indian fertilizer supply is we import almost 100% of all our supply fertilizer which is there. So that is of particular concern because it's coming from the Hormuz route, majority of it. So this is
But I
which
think it
is
has
what's under.
diverted the fertilizer requirement. Many of the requirements come from Russia and other, South American countries. So we have also diversified our energy requirements, and we've ensured that our energy requirements for the country are met. And that is what we see. Nothing has, happened that way.
And then we are talking about what is the global energy impact. So there was a surge, price rise has happened as compared to pre-war. The contracts are physically unaffected, but the supply is, let's say,
I think there
consistent.
has been you know, the graph has gone down substantially to nearly around 100, because
That's
today
right.
also there was 10% of lowering of price, and yesterday also the prices have lost. So I think 7,900 to 8,000 the prices have come. They've gone down substantially. So
Yep.
20-25% of since April 13th.
Yeah, and
As of
then it's also important to remember that this is dynamic. It can change as per the situation
now,
in the
if
actual.
see, the fact is, if the war escalates, the graph would have gone down. But since the war has come to a standstill, and both the parties do not want to escalate further, as of now, for the time being, the Brent crude is going down substantially by 20 to 30%, and the prices of gold and silver, which were locked, reverse in reverse. Now, since crude is going down, so gold and silver are going up. The metals are going up. Once it was going up, the metals were going down. So they have been locked by big players in the market.
Right. And then we need to see like where does India stand here, right? So this is the share of energy mix as per FY26, right? As per the PPAC government website, this is the data. We get roughly half of our crude from the Middle East, and maybe 15% of it comes through Hormuz. That is the situation.
32% from Russia.
That's right.
So quite a substantial from Russia, and this is the official figure. So what I'm trying to say here is, two countries have benefited largely from this conflict of Iran and US and Israel. One is Russia, because its ban on oil exports were totally removed, and Russia sold a lot of crude and petroleum products, energy products. And the second country which gained substantially was India, surprisingly. Why India? Because Rus- India was allowed to import, crude from Russia, and India has substantially, provided all the refined oil to the European countries. So, hence, if you see, the biggest gainers were Russia and India.
Absolutely. And then for the next one, yeah. So what is India's policy response and what measures we have taken? So this is from the PIB, right? We have cut the excise duty and we have made sure that we are not going to go ahead and overcharge the consumers, right? OMCs or oil marketing companies, which are IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, they are all again absorbing the cost. So there's no
If
pass
you
through to
see,
consumers.
yeah, nearly 26 rupees per liter they've absorbed. And diesel to बहुत ज़्यादा लग रहा है. I really don't know whether this amount is actually right because it's from the website. So this, now people are, viewers may ask ये कहाँ से दे रहे हैं? Actually over the years they have accumulated a lot of profits from purchasing low price crude from Russia and other countries. This amount is being given from that profit. Now whether over the month this profit has diminished, that is a question which the government agencies will answer. But if it ends, the earlier it ends, the better for the country. But the consumers and the common man of India has not suffered.
Correct. So then if you see like what is a trade and economic policy, right? So what's been disrupted and what's been resilient, right? So we can see what's ongoing in this kind of situation, and more to come, right? There will be more disruptions, more things which will be better, and we will see that when it happens. And then we've also done the humanitarian rescue, right? We have rescued our nationals from Iran. We've made sure that there is no any kind of disruption to our GCC diaspora, people who are living in the Gulf area, who are rightly so remitting a large amount of money back to India, and there is no evacuation action in those states because there is stability.
People should not confuse. It is not Op Sindhu. This is Op Sindhu. That Sindhu
Yes.
Nadi across the. So don't get confused. The Operation Sindoor is under Operation Sindoor.
Yeah, that's different. So then you can see there is a US sanctions waiver which is expiring maybe by the end of this month, right? And then you have a thing where IMEC is on pause because de facto the issue is because of that, right? So we are basically in a situation where many of the things are in play, right? We have strategic defense partnership with US also. We have Israel related access or technology access which we have, and we cannot afford to alienate anybody, right? So we have the strategic autonomy policy which is structural to what we are doing right now. So on a large level you have the outlook and scenarios which are working in this way.
But seeing how things are going, Hormuz, because what I've read in the open source is that US has, Iran had said that we have put a lot of mines, sea mines, seabed pe mines are there. But when US forces went into searching those mines, they couldn't find any. And that's why US forces are saying now that their Navy is saying that we are in total control of Hormuz. So a lot of bluff games are going on. So let's see. So closure of Hormuz may not be an issue right now, but yes, the question is whether now US will go into all out putting ground troops entering Iran to change, take control of the nuclear arsenal and also get the regime change, because regime change has not happened totally. Ayatollah Khamenei has gone, but still IRG is controlling Iran. So that is one thing which can change.
Yeah. And then in this case, for policymakers, for corporates, and for citizens, so these are some of the takeaways that I think that we should consider, right? Which are currently ongoing, right? And then on that
there are
basis,
so many parameters. Yes, there's so many parameters which can go up for policymakers, even for business and corporates. Business and corporates want peace, but is peace in the offing? Because US has committed too much into this war, and it has to close this conflict with a win. Flag in hand, ki we have won. Iran doesn't want to lose or doesn't want to surrender. So how it will close is a big thing. That is a big question mark. And citizen, everybody is suffering. There is no doubts in that.
correct. And then the last thing is all the data, right? So this is from whatever sources that we picked, and I think that pretty much concludes
Right.
today's presentation.
And we have tried to get you, our viewers, the updates of last 2 weeks, what has happened over flow of presentations and our views. I think people may be aware, but as of now things are better off. Hormuz is in control, ships are passing, both Iran and US is agreed. But in my opinion, this is a temporary pause, because the closure will have to be high on both the parties. So how the closure, maybe it will escalate again, but for the time being, maybe for few days or a couple of weeks, maybe before, things will again start. That is my view.
I agree. So thank you, sir. We had a short update. I think we will do one very soon next week, right?
Yeah, and
So
very informative presentation, Path. I should compliment on the same. It will
thank you,
help our
thank
viewers.
thank you, sir.
Okay.
So audience, thank you for being on the show. Yeah, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Jai Bharat.